And we'll start off class either sitting or laying down, whichever you find more comfortable. Taking a moment to adjust so that you feel settled and secure. If you are laying down, taking up as much room as you need on your mat, letting your feet spread to the top corners of the mat, let your arms extend out at your side. And if you are sitting up, taking up a little bit more space by lifting up taller, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And we'll take a moment to scan through the body, starting at the top of the head and working your way down. Tuning in and noticing any areas where you're feeling tense, where you're holding on, and softening those areas consciously. Maybe letting your eyes close or letting your gaze rest downwards. Relaxing the jaw open, softening the throat, releasing the shoulders down the back. If you're laying down, letting your shoulders settle back into your mat. If you're sitting up, letting your elbows hang heavy. Settling down equally through both hips. And noticing what parts of your legs come in contact with the ground beneath. And at each place where you make contact with the ground, let yourself settle in a little bit more deeply. Let yourself find a bit more heaviness, a sense of stability. And as you settle into the ground, starting to bring a little bit of awareness, excuse me, a little bit of awareness to your breath. Not necessarily trying to change it, just noticing where in your body you feel it. Noticing what moves as you inhale and exhale. Noticing any sensation that comes with the breath. Again, looking for any areas of tightness or tension, and imagine them softening. If you notice that your breathing is a bit shallow or short, see if you can take that next inhale a little bit deeper into the body, drawing the air all the way down the length of the spine, filling up first the lungs and then the belly. And then as you exhale, releasing the opposite direction, letting the belly soften and then the lungs empty, traveling back up and out. As you inhale into the upper part of the body, you might feel your shoulders lift or your chest expand. And then as you breathe into the lower part of your body, feel your belly rise. And then on the exhale, feel the opposite, belly soften, rib cage knits back together, the air travels back up and out. Allowing each breath to be slow and intentional. And continuing with that same slow, steady breath, we'll start to bring some movement into fingers and into toes. If it's available where you are, circling wrists and circling ankles. And perhaps turning your head from side to side. And we'll bring it back to stillness. Excuse me. If you are laying on your back, drawing your knees in towards your chest and rolling over to whichever side of the body is more comfortable. And then slowly making your way up to a seated position. If you have been sitting for this time, you can choose to change the position of your legs if you'd like. If your legs are crossed, maybe crossing them in the opposite direction, or maybe extending them out in front of you. Allowing yourself to get comfortable again, sitting up nice and tall. Remember, you always have the option to sit on a couch or a chair, some raised surface if sitting on the floor is not comfortable for you. We'll sit up nice and tall, and then we'll start to bring some movement into the shoulders, lifting shoulders up towards the ears, and then squeezing them together, drawing them down the back. Taking your time, matching movement with breath, inhaling to lift, and exhaling to squeeze and lower. And then we'll take it the other direction. Still lifting up on the inhale, but rolling the shoulders forward, spreading shoulder blades nice and wide on the exhale. And bringing the shoulders back to stillness. Let's drop the chin down towards the chest. Roll the chin up towards one shoulder. Back down through center and over to the other side. Taking your time again and checking in as you move. Noticing any areas where you might feel a bit more tightness. If you feel like you want to pause in any one spot and take a few slow, deep breaths, you're welcome to do so. And then we'll bring it back to stillness. As we inhale, let's take both hands up overhead. As we exhale, drop the left hand down, reach the right arm up and over. And then inhale all the way back to center. And exhale over to the other side, dropping the right hand down, extending the left arm across. With each inhale, taking the arms up overhead, stretching tall. And with the exhale, moving to one side or the other, holding at the waist. And reaching towards that side of the room. Once again, matching your movement with your breath. You can close your eyes. Sometimes that helps focus on the feeling of the movement and the breathing. And after your next trip over to the right side, we'll come back up to center and we'll release the arms down. From here, if you are sitting up on anything, making your way down onto the floor, we'll extend the right leg out in front of us. We'll fold the left foot in. We'll start by flexing at the right ankle. We'll tap the fingers back behind us. Lift up a little bit taller. Take a nice deep breath in and then very gently hinge at the hips and lean forward. Stopping at that place where you find a little bit of a stretch along the back of your right leg. Nothing too intense. You want a gentle stretch there to give yourself the time and space that you need to move into it. If it's uncomfortable even to be upright with your leg completely straight, you can always relax your ankle, relax your knee a little bit, and just stay in that upright position. As you inhale, ground down through those sitting bones and lift up a little bit taller. And as you exhale, fold just slightly. And let's release. We'll come all the way back up. Take that left foot and bring it just outside of the right hip. So the left knee stacks over top of the right knee. We'll flex up both ankles now. We'll tent the fingers back behind us, sit up a little bit taller. Take a nice deep breath in, and then if it's available to you, hinging at the hips, keeping both hip sitting bones anchored. And again, leaning just as far forward as you comfortably can. This is a more intense stretch for the back of the leg. Be mindful of that, and you may also feel it in your outer left hip. Taking one or two slow, deep breaths in, and slow, deep breaths out. And let's release. We'll come all the way back up, right? Let's turn that left knee up to face the ceiling, placing the left foot on the floor just outside the right knee, or maybe even a little bit further away from the body. From here, we'll hold on to the left knee with the right hand. We'll place our left hand back behind us. Press into that left hand, sit up tall, take a deep breath in, and then as we exhale, let's open towards the left side of the room. Drawing that left shoulder back, maybe looking over the left shoulder. If your right arm is comfortable where it is, you can leave it. If you'd prefer to wrap your elbow around your left knee, you can do that as well. As you inhale, focus on pressing down and lifting up tall. And as you exhale, maybe twisting a little bit deeper. Mindful that it is pretty early in the morning. You may not have the same range of motion as you would later on in the day. Really being gentle with yourself, really focusing on lengthening up, creating that space for yourself. And then we'll switch sides, coming back to center. Extending the left leg out in front of us. We'll fold the right knee, bringing the right foot just inside of that left thigh. We'll flex at the left ankle, drawing the toes back towards the shin. And we'll start again on this side with the fingers tented back behind us, sitting up nice and tall, finding length through the spine. And this might be where you stay. If you want to move deeper, you can hinge at the hips and lean forward. Maybe leaving your hands back behind you, or maybe walking them out onto the floor in front of you. Stopping at that place where you start to find your edge, where there's a little bit of a stretch along the back of the left leg, but nothing too intense. You can still easily, comfortably breathe deeply. Filling the body up with air and then releasing slowly. If you notice you're clenching through your jaw or tight through your shoulders, you might be a little bit too deep in the pose, bringing it back. And allowing yourself to breathe right on that edge. Creating a little bit more space as you breathe in, coming out slightly. And then maybe folding a little bit deeper as you breathe out. That's released. We'll come all the way back up. Let's take the right foot and place it just outside the left hip so that the right knee stacks over the left knee. We'll start again with our fingers back behind us, sitting up a little bit taller. Maybe this is where you stay, especially if that first stretch was intense for you. This one will be probably even more intense, so staying in a more upright position. If you don't feel the stretch yet and you want to move a little bit deeper, you can hinge at the hips and lean forward. Once again, leaving your hands back behind you for support or bringing them out around the front. Noticing where you feel the stretch. Is it a little bit different than the last pose, or is it in the same place? Take a couple of slow, steady inhales and exhales. And then we'll release and come all the way back up. Let's take that right knee and point it up towards the ceiling, planting the right foot just outside the left knee, or again, maybe a little bit further away from the body. We'll start with left hand on right knee and right hand on the floor behind or beside us. We'll press down into both hands and lift up a little bit taller. And then on an exhale, start to twist towards the right side, drawing that right shoulder back, maybe looking over the right shoulder towards the wall behind you. And then you can either leave your left hand where it is, or you can wrap that left elbow around the right knee. Using the arms to help you lengthen up as opposed to twisting deeper. They're really just there to support you in lengthening. And use your breath to work your way into the pose just a little bit at a time. And let's release, coming all the way back to center. Uncrossing the legs, taking both feet out in front and bending through knees, bending through ankles. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way up into a tabletop position, coming onto hands and knees on the mat. We're going to start to move a little bit more now. We just did a little bit of a longer stretch at the start because of where we're going with the class. Make sure your legs are nice and stretched out, ready to go. So from here, with wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, we'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow. As we inhale, lowering the belly, drawing the shoulders back and looking forward. And then as we exhale, rounding the spine, spreading the shoulders, looking back to the knees. Finding a rhythm that works for you. Alternating between stretching the front of the body on the inhale and back of the body on the exhale. And let's bring the body back to a neutral spine. From here, we'll press the fingertips into the mat. Step the right and left foot back, coming into a plank pose. Pause for a moment there, really press the floor away. And then lift the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal out through the feet, bringing some movement into knees and ankles. And then we'll start to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat, bending through the knees, coming a little bit lighter on your fingertips. Finding the top of your mat, bending your knees and letting your head hang down nice and heavy, coming into a forward fold. Allowing the upper body to relax over the thighs. Maybe nod your head yes or shake your head no to release tension in your neck. And you can hold on to your opposite elbows and let your arms dangle if that feels comfortable for you. And then we'll release the arms. We'll place them somewhere on the legs, maybe on the shins or the knees. We'll come into half back, straightening out through the legs, straightening out through the spine, bringing the spine parallel with the ground. Drawing shoulders down the back and looking straight down at the floor. And as we exhale, we'll fold again, coming into forward fold Uttanasana. Let's bend the knees and sweep the arms out to the sides. We'll come all the way up to standing with a flat back, extending the arms up overhead, bringing the palms together, and then exhaling down to heart center. Pausing for a moment in our mountain pose, allowing the feet to be in whatever position they're most comfortable in. So for most people, it's around hip distance apart. If it's more comfortable for you to have them closer or further, you can do that as well. Toes can point straight forward or they can point out to the side slightly. We'll soften the shoulders down, extend the arms out at the sides. Palms can face in or they can face towards the front of the room. We'll lengthen up through the crown of the head, lifting up a little bit taller, and then root down through both feet. Inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, settling in, finding some grounding. From here, as we inhale, let's take both hands up overhead. As we exhale, let's bend the knees and fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands, step the feet back into plank. Pause, take a deep breath in, and then exhale, shift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal out. And then we'll start to tiptoe those feet up towards the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, bending the knees, sweeping the hands out to the sides, coming all the way up to the flat back. Palms meet up overhead and exhale down to heart center. Let's inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank. Take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, hips up and back. Once again, taking a moment to pedal it through the feet if you'd like. Keep that breath flowing. And when you're ready, start to walk your feet up to the top of your mat. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. And inhale, come all the way up to standing, palms meet up overhead. Exhaling down to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands. Step the feet back into plank. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. From here, we'll take a nice deep breath in and then exhale, step the right foot forward in between the hands. And then step the left foot forward in between the hands, coming into a forward fold. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling to fold. Let's inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhaling for half back. Exhaling to fold, planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, hips up and back. Inhaling here. And then exhaling to step the left foot forward and the right foot forward, coming into forward fold. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Adding a little bit more on now. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, bending the knees and folding. Inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, plant the hands. We'll step the feet back into plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale for downward facing dog. Let's inhale here. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Get a little bit lighter on the fingertips. Find equal weight between front and back foot. And then slowly come all the way up, reaching the hands up overhead. Let's settle the hips down. Stretch back through the left heel. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. And find a strong, tall, high lunge. Let's release the hands back down onto the ground. Step the left foot up to meet the right, coming into a forward fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Excuse me. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Let's inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, stepping the feet back into plank. Taking a deep breath in. Exhaling, hips up and back. Inhaling here. Exhaling, stepping the left foot forward. Getting a little bit lighter on the fingertips, transferring some weight into your back foot, and then coming all the way up. Pressing back through the right heel, lengthening up through the crown of the head, reaching with the fingertips, and sinking down equally into both feet. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, release your hands down onto the ground and step the right foot forward to meet the left, coming into a forward fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale for half back. Exhale, bend the knees and fold, planting the hands, stepping both feet back into plank. Take a nice deep breath in, press the floor away, and then exhale, hips up and back for downward facing dog. Let's excuse me. Let's inhale here. As we exhale, let's take the left foot forward this time. And come up into our high lunge. Inhale. As we exhale, let's open out into warrior two. So we'll turn the right toes out to the side, plant the right heel on the mat. We'll open the upper body towards the side of the mat, stacking shoulders over hips. And we'll extend the arms out to the front and back. From here, let's drop the right hand, lift the left hand high for exalted warrior as we inhale. And then we'll exhale back to warrior two. Once again, inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, warrior two. And last one, inhale, exalted warrior. And exhale, plant the hands down onto the mat, turn those right toes forward and step them up to meet the left, coming into a forward fold. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. And inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Other side, let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhaling, half back. Exhaling to fold, planting the hands, stepping both feet back into plank. Inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, step the right foot forward now. Planting the feet. Inhaling, bringing both arms up overhead. And let's exhale, open out to warrior two. Dropping the left heel down, turning the left toes open to the side. Stacking shoulders over hips. Extending arms out front and back. From here, we'll inhale, dropping the left hand and reaching the right hand high for exalted warrior. And then we'll exhale, bring the arms back to warrior two. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhaling, warrior two. Inhale, really stretch that right side body. And exhale, bring the hands back down to the ground. Turn those left toes forward and step that left foot up to meet the right. for a forward fold. Let's inhale for half back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's pause for a moment. Finding mountain pose. Mountain pose is an active pose. Even though it looks like just standing, there's a lot going on. So finding that activity through the feet. Letting the shoulders soften down, broadening through the collarbone. Letting the arms have some activity. They don't just hang at the sides. The palms are stretched. The fingers are reaching. And the crown of the head lengthens up. Take a moment to check in on your breath. Notice the beating of your heart. Notice any sensation in your body. Maybe you notice some warmth. Maybe you notice the feeling of some muscle activity. Noticing what comes to mind for you. And you might start to notice that even though you're standing still, your body is moving slightly. Body naturally moves in a figure 8 position while you're standing upright. Help keep you balanced. Maybe noticing a little bit of a sway even in stillness. And from here, we'll start to move again. Let's inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, bend the knees and fold forward. We'll inhale for half back. Exhale to fold, planting the hands. We'll step both feet back into plank. Take a deep breath in, press the floor away. And exhale, lift the hips up and back. As we inhale here, let's bend the knees. And as we exhale, let's step the left foot forward. We'll turn the right toes open to the side and we'll come all the way up into our warrior 2. From here, let's drop the left elbow down onto the left knee and extend the right arm towards the left side. You can widen your stance or shorten your stance to find a comfortable position for your legs. And then focus on the right side of the body. Draw the right shoulder back so it stacks in line with the hips, and then reach those right fingertips, lengthening all along the right side of the body. Keep breathing slow and steady. Keep settling into your left knee. And then we'll reach that right hand back behind us. Coming into our warrior 2. Let's start to straighten out the left leg, keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee. So we don't want to lock the knee. A little bit of a bend there for stability. Let's shift the right hip towards the back. We'll extend the left arm forward and then drop that left hand down, letting it rest wherever it wants to on your leg. And then reach the right hand high. Try to stay a little bit light on that left hand. Try to use your core muscles, feeling of reaching up to keep you light on that left hand. Once again, here working on stacking the shoulders, finding one plane for shoulders and hips. You can either look up towards your right fingertips or down towards the left hand. As we breathe in, let's lift up. And as we breathe out, let's settle into both feet. And let's bend the knee. We'll inhale, come all the way up to warrior 2. Let's exhale, bring the hands back down to the ground. Turn those right toes forward and step the right foot up to meet the left, coming into forward fold. As we inhale, let's come to half back. Exhaling for forward fold. Inhaling, bending the knees, coming all the way up, reaching those hands up overhead. And exhaling down to heart center. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, bending the knees and folding forward. Let's inhale for half back. And exhale to fold, planting both hands. We'll step both feet back into plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hips up and back for downward facing dog. As we inhale, let's bend the knees. As we exhale, let's step the right foot forward, up in between the hands. Turn the left toes open to the side, and we'll come all the way up into our warrior 2. From here, let's bend the right elbow, dropping the right elbow down onto the right knee. and sweep the left arm forward. So now we're lengthening all along the left side of the body. If your left shoulder is falling in towards the front of the body, let's roll it back, stack the shoulders, really reach all along the left side of the body, stretching fingers away from ankle. Breathing slow and steady, continuing to settle into that right knee, right foot, keeping the weight equal between both feet. Breathing in and reaching, breathing out and settling. And then we'll come all the way back up into our warrior two. Let's start to straighten out the right leg. Again, keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee there. We'll take the left hip back, right hand forward, and then drop that right hand down and lift the left hand high. Once again, being light on the lower hand can actually float in most cases because we're really focusing on lifting up through the left hand. Either looking down towards the right toes or up towards the left hand, whichever is more comfortable. Work on opening the body towards that left side, and stacking left shoulder over right hip. And let's bend through the right knee. We'll come all the way back up into warrior two. Bring the hands down onto the mat, turning the left toes forward. Let's step the left foot up to meet the right, coming to forward fold. As we inhale, coming into half back. As we exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, coming all the way up, reaching those hands up overhead. Exhaling, hands down to heart center. From here, let's take the hands onto the hips and we'll step the right foot pretty far back on the mat, just like for warrior two. We'll turn the left toes to meet the same way as the right. So both sets of toes facing one side of the mat. We'll take the heels a little bit wider than the toes, so the toes point inward slightly. We'll lift up nice and tall, lengthening up through the crown of the head, and then as we exhale, let's hinge at the hips, we'll fold forward and bring our hands down towards the ground. If you don't quite reach the ground, you can come to a chair or a couch or something and place your hands or elbows on the chair or couch. You can adjust the distance between your feet, making it a little bit wider or a little bit narrower to suit your body. As we inhale again, let's focus on lengthening tailbone away from crown of the head. And as we exhale, let's soften, hinge at the hips, and maybe fold a little bit deeper. Let's bend through the knees. We'll come all the way back up, walking the hands up the legs, coming up right. Let's heel toes, feet together. And we'll step to the back of our mat. Let's find our mountain pose, equal grounding through both feet, standing up nice and tall. Taking a moment to check in. Notice how you're feeling here. Once you feel strong, stable, and steady, start to shift our weight over into our right foot. And we'll take a pretty big step forward with our left foot. And then transfer the weight into that left foot. Keeping a little bit of a bend in the left knee. Getting lighter and lighter and lighter on the right foot until maybe just the toes are touching. Maybe the toes even lift up off the floor. If the toes lift, let's flex at the ankle, drawing those toes back towards the shin. You can leave your hands at your hips. You can bring them together at heart center. And we'll start to hinge forward, lifting the back heel as we lower the upper body. Coming into a warrior three. So you can stay where you are, gazing straight down towards the floor. You can choose a different arm position if you'd rather, stretching our arms out to the back or the front. Or you can try for a half moon pose if you'd like. If you wanted to come into the half moon, you can drop your left hand down towards the ground. Open your hip towards the right side of the mat, so the toes now point to the right side of the mat. And then extend the right arm up. Once again, working on stacking shoulders. Breathing slow and steady wherever you are. Taking just 2 breaths. And then we'll release. We'll come all the way back to standing at the back of the mat and pause for a moment to roll through wrists and roll through ankles. And coming back to stillness. Finding equal weight through both feet. Hands come onto the hips, and we'll start to transfer the weight into the left foot, bending the knees slightly. And take a big step forward with the right foot. And then slowly start to transfer the weight into the right foot. Notice the connection of the foot with the ground. Notice the left foot getting lighter and lighter. Again, maybe you find a point where the toes just barely touch. Maybe they start to lift off the ground a little bit. If they lift off the ground, flexing at the ankle, drawing those toes back towards the shin. Find your focal point on the ground, and then slowly start to lift your left foot as you lower your upper body. Staying at whatever point is comfortable for you. So maybe you still have your toes on the ground. Maybe you're going to stay in this position. Maybe you want to bring your hands to your heart or extend them out towards the front or back of your mat. Again, on this side, if you'd like to try for the half moon, you can drop your right hand down towards the ground. Open your hip up towards the left side of your mat. Stacking one hip over the other, and then maybe extend the left arm up overhead. Keeping the ankle flexed, that back leg nice and active. Taking a couple of slow, steady breaths. And then coming all the way back to standing at the back of the mat. Once again, finding mountain pose. Pausing there. We'll inhale, reaching both hands up overhead. Exhale, bending the knees and folding. Let's walk the hands out to the top of the mat, coming into downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up and back, drawing the heels down towards the ground, pressing the floor away. Take a nice deep breath in, and then as we exhale, let's lower the knees down towards the floor. We'll untuck the toes, bring the big toes together, and settle the hips down towards the heels. Walking the upper body out onto the mat, allowing yourself to recline. You can either have your elbows bent or you can have your arms straight out in front of you. You can also choose to bring your hands back towards your feet, letting your arms curl around your body. And as you breathe here, notice the sensation of your back ribs. Notice the feeling along the back of your body as you inhale and exhale. And then slowly we'll start to walk the hands back up towards the body, coming upright, drawing the knees together and shifting the hips over to one side. Let's extend both feet out in front of us. We'll move towards the top of the mat, so you have room to lay down. Just bend the knees and place the feet onto the floor, and then slowly come all the way down onto the mat. Let's draw the heels up underneath of the knees. Have the feet about hip distance apart. We'll take the arms nice and wide, and gently, slowly, we'll start to shift the knees from side to side. You can choose if you want to turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees. So as your knees come over to the right, looking to the left, and vice versa. Noticing the transfer of weight across your feet. As you shift your knees side to side, different parts of your feet come in contact with the ground. Different parts of your hip come in contact with the ground. Let's bring it back to stillness at center. Let's cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Flex at the right ankle. Press the right knee away from the body. If you already feel a stretch in your outer right hip, maybe this is where you want to stay. If you feel like you need to take it a little bit deeper, you can lift your left foot off the floor, thread your right hand in between your legs, and wrap both hands around the back of the left hamstring. Pausing here for just one or two slow deep breaths, pressing that right knee away from the body. And then we'll release, placing the left foot down, placing the right foot down beside it, and then taking the other side, crossing the left ankle over the right thigh, flexing at the left ankle, pressing that left knee away. Checking in here, noticing if you already feel a stretch on your outer left hip, staying here. If you feel like you need to move deeper, as you exhale, lift your right foot off the mat, thread your left hand in between your legs, and wrap both hands around the back of the right hamstrings. Once again, pausing just for a couple of slow, deep breaths. And then releasing, placing the right foot down onto the ground, left foot beside it, this time bringing the feet a little bit closer together. We'll allow the knees to fall open to the sides and let the soles of the feet touch together. You can move your feet closer to your body to make the stretch a little bit deeper, or further away from your body to make it more relaxed. So you can draw your shoulders underneath your body. Tuck your chin in towards your chest to lengthen the back of your neck. And then allow your hands to rest, one on your belly and one on your heart. Pausing here for a moment to tune into the breath. See if you can find that same rhythm from the start of class, filling up the upper chest, then the belly. And then releasing, softening the belly, softening the chest. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Let your jaw start to relax. From here, let's bring our hands down to the outsides of our thighs. Draw those knees back up towards one another and place the feet on the floor a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and allow those knees to rest against each other. If you have any low back pain or tension, I'd invite you to stay here for your final resting pose, extending your arms out at the side. If you don't have any discomfort in the low back and you'd like to take a traditional shavasana, you can walk your heels down to the top edges of your mat and let your toes rock open to the side. If you prefer to finish the class in a seated position, you can do that as well. Wherever you are, allowing yourself to settle into those supports beneath you. Finding heaviness along the back of the body or the lower body, whatever's touching down on the ground. Letting your eyes softly close or letting your gaze soften, resting on something within the room that feels calming for you. Letting go of any control of the breath, allowing it to move in its own rhythm. As you inhale again, noticing the rise of the chest, maybe the rise of the belly. As you exhale, find some softness, find a little bit of heaviness. Settle into that support beneath you. Getting a little bit heavier with each exhale, maybe a little bit lighter with each inhale. Each time you inhale, you're bringing more air, energy, oxygen into the body. You feel a sense of buoyancy, a sense of lightness across the top of the body. As you exhale, feel those connections with the ground. Let yourself settle into them, feeling grounded, feeling stable. Taking a few moments here just to breathe, just to be. Allow yourself to rest and to integrate the practice into the body. Let's start to invite a little bit of small movement back into the body once again, gently wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Maybe circling wrists, circling ankles if that's available to you. Turning your head from side to side. Noticing how each of these little movement feels for you. Bringing the body back to stillness. If you are laying on your back, drawing your knees in towards your chest, and then rolling onto whichever side of the body is more comfortable for you. Pause there for a moment, wherever you're at. Take a moment to think of someone in your life who could use a little bit of love today. Call their image into your mind. And take a moment just to wish them well. If you are laying on your side now, coming back up to a seated position. If you have been seated, you can change the position of your legs if you feel you need to. Once we're all seated, finding a grounded position, settling equally through both hips, lengthening up through the crown of the head, and then bringing hands together at heart center. I'd like to take a moment to thank you for joining me this morning for practice and allowing me to guide you through the movements, through the breath, and the light that shines within each of you. Namaste.